What's up, y'all? Cheers. That's that Bustelo black coffee, Spanish Harlem, y'all. So, I was taking a walk yesterday for lunch. I try to get out for lunch. All those people that work in an office building or like me in school, try to take a walk for lunch. You need the fresh air. But I was taking a walk for lunch and I was like, what's on my heart to share? And it was about business. Starting a business, having a business idea. And I was like, business is crazy hard to make successful, right? You get an idea, you gotta work the idea, you gotta hope that there's a customer base for the idea. Yeah, you could do research, but a lot of times you're not gonna know if something's gonna pop until you do it, right? So I have this internal conversation a lot about business. And when I say you never know what's gonna pop, you never know what's gonna pop, bro. I be talking to my wife sometime. I be like, if I came to you, babe, and was like, look, we got an extra bedroom. Let's rent that out to people that's coming and going, like a mini hotel. You think my wife would have been like, that's an amazing idea? If I spoke to a friend of mine, you think they would have been like, yo, that's a dope idea. Just have a stranger up the hall from you in your house with your family. Bro, that's Airbnb. That's Airbnb, right? Whoever created Airbnb, they're geniuses, right? Why? Because it worked. Everyone's a genius when it works. Every pass was a good pass when it works. Every shot was a good shot when it works. What about when it doesn't work? And you gotta sit with that. You gotta be like, man, I thought this was such a great idea. I think the line between genius and not genius is very close together. It's like a fence you can hop over. If I told y'all, look, I need an investment, y'all. I got this amazing idea. I need some bread. I need some capital. And I just called up all my friends. I need some capital. I want to start this business where you use your own car and act like you a taxi. You act like you a cab service. They be like, word, that's your bright idea? That's Uber, man. That's Uber. Using your own car, picking up a stranger, taking them from point A to point B. That's Uber. On the surface, it sounds all right. I'm from New York City. So you'd be like, what about the cab commission? How you gonna get, there's a whole bunch of regulations, this, that, and the other. Bro, I say all that to say, you never know if something's gonna work, man. You're not a genius if it worked, and you're not an idiot if it don't work, man. You have to try. What you have to do first, pray about it. I'm gonna say that. Count the cost of what it's gonna cost you financially, time-wise, to put this idea into effect, right? So I'm a married man with children. I gotta count the cost. Is this gonna affect my family's budget, like how we do things, putting food on the table, mortgage, things of that nature? Or do I get a part-time job to finance the business? What can I do? Do I have some savings stash? Can I use that? Can I dip into that to try to make something out of nothing? You just have to count the cost, right? You don't need too much knowledge, because too much head knowledge will paralyze you, right? And that might sound counterintuitive, right? Too much knowledge. But sometimes you could be too smart for your own good, right? Sometimes you have to have a little naivete. A little. Like, why not me? Why not? So Airbnb, you all know the story. I think it started in Washington, D.C. Correct me if I'm wrong. They had this big conference. They was like, let's put an air mattress here because the hotels always get booked right away. Boom, Airbnb. I don't know how Uber started. But the point being, it's kind of an insane idea that I'm going to let people sleep in the next room next to me. Or when I'm not home, I'm going to let someone rent my house out. It's your home. You know how close to your heart your home is? Like your privacy, your home. I don't know anybody that would have thought that was a good idea if they came up with it. And I'm just reiterating the point that you could think the idea is crazy, but you just never know, man. Netflix, I'm going to have DVDs. You get on a mail system. I'm going to send you disc, and we're going to have a rotating system. You send these back. I send you the new movies back and forth, back and forth. No one was like, we can't do this. There's Blockbuster. They'll just come and do the same thing we're doing and knock us out. Yeah, they tried, and they almost did. And they probably could have. They had a bigger budget. And Netflix, if I'm not mistaken, tried to sell themselves a Blockbuster. But I could be wrong. I might be talking too fast with that. But I think so. I saw the documentary, if I recall correctly. If I'm not mistaken. That's a safe statement. But anyway, I say all that to say, man, if you have an idea, count the cost, man. It's better to swing and miss than never have swung at all. Who wants to be 60, 70, 80 years old and be like, I had an idea back in the day. Nobody want to do that, man. For all the things I tried, I ain't mad, bro. I ain't mad it didn't work. I'd rather have tried than failed to never have tried at all, man. Like, you only on this trip, this lifetime, one go round, bro. One go round, one lap. Could be a long lap, could be an intermediate lap, could be a short lap. But you only get one lap, bro. If you want to try something, knock yourself out. Count the cost, right? If you marry with children and you have a budget, you got to find a way to get some extra money to invest in your business. You can't have the family sitting on the side of the road because you had this great idea. That's not fair. If you're single, knock yourself out. It's only you. If you're a couple, dual income, no kids, dinks, knock yourself out, bro. Talk to your spouse, talk to your boo. Be like, yo, this is what I'm thinking. You're going to hold down the house with your income. I'm going to try to make us a gazillion dollars with this idea I got. Knock yourself out, man. But, of course, pray, right? Start in prayer. Get some feedback from those you trust. And be careful. Don't tell everybody your idea. There are such things as dream killers. Sometimes they don't mean any harm. They just don't share the same risk tolerance. And sometimes it could be something internal in their heart. They fear you blowing up and then leaving them behind. Or they just don't share the same vision. But you have to be careful who you share the dream with. Be careful who you share the dream with, all right? People could be dream killers and not even mean to do it. So watch out for dream killers. Don't tell everybody your idea. Count the cost. And look, man, you get one try at this thing here on planet Earth in your Earth suit. So if you got a good idea, or if you have an idea, if you have a skill that could benefit others, see if it could be a business, man. To God be the glory. I hope this helps somebody. I hope if somebody's straddling the fence on pursuing a dream, that maybe I pushed you over the fence. Count the cost. Protect the idea from dream killers. Do your homework. But don't stay stuck. Analysis by paralysis. Paralysis by analysis. Yeah. Don't need to get every question answered where you don't make any moves at all. All right? I hope that helps somebody. I love y'all.